Hey, okay, I just hit record. Welcome to Pop-Up Team Call Wednesday, September 25th. We were originally, I don't know if I missed a change. I'm not really in her team page as much because, I'm committed to our team page. And anyways, so whatever, here we are. And it's good because honestly, a lot of what we're going to talk about tonight I have been thinking about and kind of just trying to be in tune with the questions you guys are asking and watching, and maybe I can light some fire so that we all push really hard for the next week or so, because September is a rough month. And so if you're feeling like, oh, I'm getting a lot of no's, or I'm getting a lot of maybe just quiet, it's just kind of quiet in your inbox, it's okay, because we're going to keep pushing, and Success Club is going to happen. Say it every single day. Success Club is going to happen. Whatever you want will can blah 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 blah. So really fast, yay, we are about to go into the last week of qualification for both Brenna and I, so yay. We're fine. It's fine. We're fine. We're fine. It's fine. So what happens is then we start our final week tomorrow, and then as long as everything holds and we wake up on the 3rd, because the Beachbody week starts on Thursdays, as long as we wake up that day, everything in order, then we are each individually both 2-star diamond coaches, which is really exciting. So, and we're a 2-star diamond team, which is exciting. So, whoop, whoop. Okay, besides that, Super Saturday is coming. Super Weekend, sorry. We used to call it Super Saturday. So kind of play around. If you're not in like a Facebook group for your state or for your region or whatever, check out in the back office under events and mark it on your calendar and really try to get there. I know if you guys don't live near like any of us, like it can be kind of like nerve-wracking, and you're like, oh, like I don't know anybody. Everybody is so nice, and they always have great speakers. There's a market council for every region or whatever. So most of the time it's really great, and just get there. Like seriously, just believe me, just trust me. Mostly everyone, if you listen to what I say later, you're like, oh, I should have listened to Sam before. So just listen to me. Just listen to me. Go get to Super Weekend, because you're gonna get super fired up, which will push you through the holidays. And then obviously the New Year is always like exciting, and then they have another one in January and stuff. But that's kind of it. Plus Summit, have your calendar, have your plan. We have 2 babes right now who are on the call, Julie and Shayna, who got month 1 for their Success Starter. So they have to do, they're hustling, and then they can get a free ticket to Summit, which is a really big deal. Yeah, so that's kind of it. Summit, Super Weekend. We'll get together and make the calendar. Also, I'm not like officially announcing it, but coming up soon, I am going to just kind of make a standing date that I will be ready for like a coffee chat every Saturday morning. So kind of like our team calls are almost always on Tuesdays. It will be like Saturday mornings is like a chance where we can just coffee chat as a team. So, we call them Success Squad calls. It's basically people who are like wanting to really just dive into the business and ask questions and stuff like that. Anybody is welcome. But I'm almost ready to be like, okay, every Saturday morning. I had to start my routine with my preschooler and see how life goes with that. But anyways, so that's kind of it. So tonight, so what I did in the team page is I just asked like, hey, does anybody have any questions? And so kind of the few questions, I have a sticky note. Where is it? Where's the sticky note? Oh, here it is. That were asked were, well, first, just a really fast one, was Megan asked if Shakeology was gluten-free. And if you guys didn't know, Shakeology is gluten-free. The pumpkin spice, there's a label on it that says it's not gluten-free, but that's like the only one. The rest of them are gluten-free. They're not certified lactose-free. All vegan is obviously lactose-free, but gluten-free and organic. However, if you get something certified in organic and all of these things, it raises the price. So that's why, because Shakeology, when something is, and I didn't understand this, so I'm just explaining it for the person who doesn't get it, like me, until I watched a Shakeology Surge. But when you're getting something certified to be organic or gluten-free or whatever, you have to get each farm that the ingredient is coming from to get their certification. Well, Shakeology has 77 ingredients that are all coming from different farms, and so that would be quite a bit of money. And a lot of times, because these ingredients are really rare in Shakeology, they're going to local, like, farm, honestly, like in the like that really cheesy, it looks kind of cheesy, that video that comes up after some of the videos with Darren Orlee, and he's like in the jungle and he's like, you know, like saying all the things, but it's like, it's true. Like, they go out and what they do is they get a first batch of like, let's say maca root, and they get that batch and then they put it through the process of like, they do a tester run, and then they test to make sure that through the drying and the grinding, the process, that the integrity of the ingredient stays up. If the integrity of the ingredient stays up, then they order like a bigger batch from that farm. If for whatever reason that season the maca root at that one farm wasn't great, they'll say, hey, we'll try you again next season or something. So again, so it would just really raise the price. So there was a really great call that Keisha's team did do on Shakeology, and I'll reshare it because it was really, really informative, because a lot of us are just like, your coach is like, hey, drink this, it's incredible, and you drink it and you're like, hey, I feel really great, but you don't even know what's in this magic shake. So it's good to just kind of like I wouldn't say like, hey, get out a book and study for the next 12 hours, but it's good to like kind of put that in your rotation to learn. Cami and I are legit fighting right now, so homegirl needs to go. Okay, so that was kind of just a fast one. Then the other ones are going to be a little bit more in layers. So one of the questions was about posting and like how much do you talk about Beachbody, how much do you not talk about Beachbody? You know, kind of like the momentum it takes, like how long does it take to get momentum going? I wrote on my notes, the desensitization, it's wrong, work with me, you know what I'm saying, of no, like becoming desensitized to no, but so that's not a word, desensitization, no. You know what, I make up words, and I think someone should talk to me about it because they make way more sense sometimes. So okay, becoming desensitized to no, and then the push, kind of that, the breakdown of kind of the push that we've, you know, talked about a few times, and that kind of that breakdown in that format. So first, to answer some of these questions, what I'm gonna do, because I'm Samantha and you love me for repeating myself, is break out your handy dandy tracker. Because I feel like I haven't really talked about it a lot lately, when you probably are like, oh my gosh, you talk about it all the time, shut the heck up. However, I don't, because I'm going to just share a really fast story, is that hey baby, either come in or out. In or out, the TV's loud. I felt like, because we used to have something and it was similar, but it was not as detailed on what we were doing. It was very broad, and it was like kind of like you were making it up as you go. And it was called the BAT, the Business Activity Tracker. And I felt for a very long time in my business that I could do it better. Like that I could kind of do it my own way, that I felt more comfortable with, and then I would still get to where I wanted to be or whatever. Well, spoiler alert, I didn't get anywhere in my business because these tools are created by coaches. They're not created by like just somebody sitting in an office. Like Beachbody hires specific people to collaborate with coaches to create all of our trainings. And Carl Deichler says it all the time. He's like, if I were to create the trainings, it would look very different. He was like, but I'm not the one out talking to people and having these conversations. And so, because even at Summit, sometimes he'll say things and you'll be like, Carl, that's not how it works. But he doesn't know because he's the CEO and he laughs about it and he's good about it. So The Success Club tracker is everything. Is everything. So I'm going to say it again. The Success Club tracker is everything. And do yourself a gut check right now. Do you have one for this past week? Were you filling one out for this past week? Okay, just you don't have to say, but I'm just gonna say, do you? Rachel's like waving hers, because I will tell you that a lot of this call is gonna come from conversations that Rachel and I have had over the last couple days, because I believe, this is the teacher in me, when one person is having a question or struggling, then probably more than one person. So a lot of what we had talked about, I'm gonna say again, but it is okay. So where to start? And obviously I don't have like notes or a slideshow prepared for this, so I'm just winging it. But this business, and Brenna, this is like her coined phrase, like if we each get a phrase, I guess mine is like, where's your tracker? But Brenna's is, it's a 3-month out business. Like it is a 3-month out business. So if you want to build this business and feel like you have momentum, you need to do the tracker. You need to do the tracker. So there's obviously 4 vital behaviors, and we know that, right? Like, you have to do your workout, and you have to like drink your shake, and you have to do your personal development. I hope that you know that. And I hope that you know the recognize, you've got to be in your challenge group. You got to be doing that, because if somebody says, yes, please be my coach, even if you're not my girl, but you're in my group, I'm liking your stuff, I'm commenting. I'm not perfect every single day, and trust me, this last week was not my best moment, but when I'm on it, and even if I'm not, still a few times a week going through and liking and commenting on every single person's, remember how you felt when you first came into a group for the first time, the amount of support you felt. That's what we are always trying to move forward, because maybe it's not your girl, but maybe it's your coach's girl or your success partner's girl. And we're the kind of team that's, you can sit with us, right? We love everybody for where they're at. Nobody has to be perfect. You just have to show up. So those things are kind of, we know we have to be proof the products work. You have to engage in your challenge group and recognize results. Like, that's kind of what that is. And then you have to do personal development. Okay, so right now I'm going to talk about the inviting part. In regards to your business, if you want to see growth in your business, you need to do this tracker every single week for 3 months. Okay, so do you have to be perfect every single day on the tracker? No, but do you have to try your very hardest and check off those boxes? Yes, because there's 4 main parts to the invite system. And 4 is a square, so this doesn't help my analogy, but you need to think of it as a circle. And because I always have analogies too. That's like Sam's thing. She has a bun on her head and weird analogies. And where's your tracker? So, but you have to connect with people. You have to invite them. You have to follow up with them. Wait, Rachel, what did I say? There was 4 earlier. Didn't I say there was? Oh, follow. You have to find followers. You're finding engaging followers. You're engaging with your people. You're inviting them, and you're following up. It does not have to be in that order, right? Because sometimes if someone is watching my stories, technically I send them the invite first. But we know that that just plants the seed. Then we follow up with them. And then, hey, they're still watching me, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to engage with them. I'm going to build a relationship. And then I'm going to follow up again, right? Like it's this constant, it's a constant thing. And I know we talk about this all the time, and so, but we forget, how long did it take you to come in? How long did it take you to see the value? And it's not you know what I mean? Like, it's not a negative thing. I know now that I've been in the business long enough that it just takes people time. I'm like, you're saying no now. Like, I literally said to a girl who I put on my like dream team list, I just like love her. Like, I just really like her, and we talk a lot like through our stories and stuff. And she was like, I just basically was like flat out, I just don't want to. She like, she was just like, I'm not really interested. And I was like, that's okay. When you are, like, I just can't wait until we like can do this together. I just said it. Like, I was like, I just can't wait till we do this together, because it's gonna be really great, because you're like such a cool girl. Like, I just said it. Like, it's kind of like dating. It's awkward. You're kind of putting yourself out there. But with those people, I don't do that with everyone, but with the people that I truly like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really like you. You end up saying that stuff. So what the tracker does is it, first of all, makes you those other 3 vital behaviors, it gets you into the habit, because sometimes some of us are not like big fitness nerds. And so maybe that's not a strong part for you. That wasn't really in the beginning for me. I've been a coach for 4 years now. It is just automatic that I do my workout in the morning. It's just automatic that I drink my shake. And if that's not your routine, that is your first priority. That is the first step in coaching, is that you first get down those: be proof the products work, listen to your personal development, drink your shake, and engage in your challenge group. Like, that is the number one thing you absolutely have to get down. And just like life, like this business is learning to juggle. So at first you're dropping all the balls because you're kind of like, oh, this is a lot of new shit that I'm learning. I don't even know what Success Club is. What are you talking about? What is a tracker? So just trust me and start with the first couple things. And the best part about this business is that the biggest priority is you, right? Is you. Feel good, fuel your body, fuel your mind. Get an audiobook, have it playing all the time until I want you to play audiobooks or podcasts or whatever until you literally are like, okay, I literally cannot take any more growth today. My brain will explode. That's what I do when I'm in a struggle season, or in like I'm killing it season, where I'm like, okay, my brain is literally filled up with so much inspiration and motivation that I cannot do anymore, and then I turn it off. But you have to just force it. You have to force it because, right, this business is hard, and we're going to get to the desensitization to know. But if you're stacking yourself up with those things, the next part is easier. So then the 4 parts of the invite: the follow, engage, building connection, invite, and follow up. You have to be doing all of those things. So on the Success Club tracker, it has times. I would encourage you, when you're learning to juggle, to set the timer and then move on. To set the timer and then move on. Set the timer and move on. Now, a lot of us are like, okay, I know in theory I have time to work this business, but then life gets crazy and you sit down and you have like 45 minutes until you have to go pick up your kid, and you're like, oh, I don't really have time. No, you do, because you could do 20 minutes of something and still watch a 22 episode of a sitcom if you really needed like a mental break. But like, use the timers to do, and I don't want to say the minimum because that makes it sound like that's not enough, because it is enough. I don't know anybody on this team who's not working full time or busy running errands, has kids, doing all this stuff. And we're going to talk about pushing, and we're going to talk about all of that. But if you can't walk, you're never going to run. So this is learning to walk. The tracker. Do the things. Your number one job every single month in this business is Success Club. Because for 2 things. One, you don't have a business if you don't have new clients. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't some months that I myself right now, that last week of the month, being like, oh crap, I'm at Success Club 4. Holy Hannah, what do I do? It's not, but that's my goal. Do we miss goals sometimes? Yes. I could give you 10 pages of lists in this business that I've missed goals. However, it's still my goal every single month. It's every coach's goal. So Success Club is your number one priority. That also, first of all, when you hit Success Club, feels real good. Feels real good, okay? And you feel good, and then you're feeling confident. Then you're getting a paycheck. Yes, there's Shayna in her thing with her bobblehead from Jericho. Like, you get prizes. You got your shirt. So Beachbody now does these awesome things where your first month, your third month, your 6th month, 9th month, and 12th month in Success Club, you get a prize, and they're not even in consecutive order. So like if you got Success Club, in what month is that? I don't even know. In August, but then miss September and then get it in October, November, you still get your prize in November. So it's just promoting like, hey, every month is a fresh slate. Every month you're just doing your best. You're making Success Club. But I will tell you, you have, in the beginning especially, you have to push every day. So you can't say, well, it's the 25th. I kind of missed it this month. No, you are pushing. You are pushing. Last month, I made Success Club 10. What was it, like 2 hours to go in the month? Because I was like, I'm not going to get my Jericho doll. And I was like, kind of like, well, maybe I don't need to, whatever. I was starting to talk myself out that I didn't really care about the goal, because then if we don't care about it, we can pretend like we're not upset about it. And then Rachel started pushing, and I was like, well, shit. So then I was like, okay. And then I started like mass messaging, and I did offer like, and you can do this sometimes, like a prize. Like I used to send a lot of notebooks, like, hey, if you sign up right now, I'm going to send you a gift in the mail. And I would do like a notebook. And that helped to get momentum in my business going last year. Because not every month is easy, and not every month personally is it easy. You know what I mean? Like you have shit going on. And so then you're like, oh my gosh, I just went 5 days without inviting. And then you can feel that. And that's the hard part of the business sometimes, is that you can feel when you haven't been working. And so whether it's you stopped for a few days or you stopped for a few months, to get the momentum back, you're going to have to start hustling a little bit harder. And then you kind of like match your pace where you were, and you're like, okay, here we go. I can just kind of go. But so I don't want it to be like this is the minimum, because this is great. Making Success Club and, getting other people results, bringing them into our community, having them transfer to discount coaches or working coaches is incredible. So I don't ever want, just because we talk about like these huge goals like elite and diamond, and we'll talk about it in a second, but I don't want ever to minimize that you should feel successful for what you do every single day. And even if you imperfectly stumble all day long, you made it through the day and you did something or whatever, you still celebrate that. I'm not going to assume, but I'm going to assume that some of you were attracted to coming onto my team because I showed up no matter what in a very many hot mess situations of my life. And so I kind of had this moment where I was like, this is our job, right? Like if you're on this call, so I'm assuming that you have goals, you want things, whether you know exactly how to articulate it or what, that this business feels really good and you want it to grow. Well, just like if you have a job and life is kind of a mess and you didn't sleep and the baby was up, you still show up and you look kind of disheveled. Okay. So in your coaching business, you still got to show up even if you look kind of disheveled. So that I just feel that that's relatable. I hate how bright I am. It's so obnoxious. But then anyways, you just have to show up and people will love you more for that. I never, ever, ever will suggest sharing something that is fresh and painful. So like, I don't have like an example like that's, let's say you, I don't know, get like fired. Like I go into my job, which I literally thought was going to happen because they texted me and I couldn't work. And I texted my boss and then everyone was like, where are you? And I would have been a no call, no show. So I literally thought the other day I was getting fired from my Hyatt job. So let's say that happens, you get let go. Would I suggest going instantly onto your Instagram stories and saying, this has just happened? It's really fresh, right? Then people have opinions and you're just not ready for that. So I would suggest that's a no, but you can go on your Instagram stories and be like, holy crap, some things are going on right now. It is a mess. I'll be back in a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, just be honest. And the other really big one that happened to me was last year. Well, first of all, I found out I was pregnant with Cannon, and you don't usually tell people when you're like 4 weeks pregnant. So I just kept saying, I'm going through something, and it's really hard. And I would use that for my workouts. And eventually it was like, hey, I'm pregnant. But the other thing was that I have lots of siblings, but my mom had 2 twins and my brother. So I have 3 here and then another sister over here. So my family tree is out of control. Their father was arrested, and it was all over the news in New Hampshire, and it was like really awful. That happened when I found out I'm pregnant with Cannon, and I just was so upset. I've never mentioned that on my Instagram stories, but anytime that has come back up with some court stuff or some things going on, I just say I'm going through something. So obviously not every day are we having like really dramatic situations happen in our life, but when, or like, okay, why didn't I just think of this? If I'm fighting with John, that happens all the time. So like, if we get in a fight, I'm not like, oh my gosh, I hate my husband, we're getting in a fight. Like, no, like, hey, I'm having, like, you know, you just are like, tonight's like not the night, or you just maybe don't talk on your Instagram stories. Anyways, the point is that you're showing up, is that you're showing up no matter what for your business. And I was watching this training video from Amy Rada, who has been top 10 the last 2 years. And she was like, in the beginning, she's like, well, she goes, in any point in the business, she goes, you have to work like you have a 6-figure business to have a 6-figure business to then make 6 figures in this business. She was like, so you have to hustle really hard. Now, we're going to talk about that. And then there are times to push and there are times to think. But you cannot run unless you can learn to walk. So this is what you need to do. Now, so the answer to the question with momentum is that honestly 3 months of continuous the tracker and continuous sharing will get it so like you feel like, okay, here we go. I will say, as someone who was a coach for 2.5 years before so Success Club All-Star is when you make Success Club for 12 months in a row. I just got that in like from January to December. I became a Success Club All-Star. And I will say that wasn't easy every single month of that year to make Success Club. But then this year, so I feel like once you get an All-Star, as long as you're like 1 full year of making Success Club, now it's pretty like, it's much more automatic. I don't know if that's the thing, but I've never stopped, you know, like it's not like I've ever just stopped and done nothing. I was hosting a team call the week after Cannon was born, you know, like I love this business. I nursed him right here on camera. So I did. And I actually was a guest speaker on a team call the night I went into labor. So I did the call, and I felt a little funny, and then my water broke an hour later. And so later she texted me the next day and was like, oh my God, were you in labor on my team call? And I was like, no, I wasn't like in active labor. He just wanted to come out. So anyways, I love this business. I show up no matter what. It is like the one thing I can bet on is me in regards to showing up and being consistent. So that is how you build momentum. Now, with sharing your story, sometimes, or just sharing on social media, sometimes it's like, well, what do I say? When do I say it? When is too much? How do I do the things? So notice that on your Success Club tracker, for your daily posts, it doesn't say like every day, here is like me and my sweaty selfie, or here is a call to action. It's benefits of your healthy lifestyle or a call to action. So a call to action is if you're like actually being like, hey, if you want to be in my next fit camp, comment below. But a lot of times I'm doing most of my inviting from my stories, and I just do that about once a week so people know that that is an option. But I still, you guys, do not get people who just comment and are like, yes, let me sign up right now. So it's vulnerable for people to comment on a post because then other people can see. And private messages is 100% more where I get all of my business. Private messages, private messages, private messages. Maybe so someone will comment on a poll that they're interested or that they're curious, but not often. On the poll I did, I thought my story this morning was fire. Like it was good. Like I did my workout and then I was listening to personal development, so I felt really like fueled up. And I think I got a message from a challenger who had said no to me for like ever, you guys. And she is only like on week 2 of Morning Meltdown 100, and she's like, I'm obsessed. I'm like, I feel so amazing. Like, she just was like, I feel so good. And so then I was like, the whole world needs this, like, goodness gracious. And so I did the story and I felt really good. The only people who have commented are you guys, or who have voted on the polls. Like, and like, thank you, because when we vote on polls, it like boosts, it, like, you know what I mean? It will show your story to other people. In theory, that's what they say. But don't think that that's any form of evidence of your success or your failure is how many people are commenting. That is nothing to do with it, because people are watching. Because I got a message from someone who had unfollowed me. She's not following me. I haven't seen her like any of my stuff, and she messaged me asking for more information. So she must be typing my name in, you know what I mean? And like going and looking, and I had missed her. So people are watching, whether we think we're paying attention to everything because we're looking at who's watching our stories, and we're looking at who's commenting or stuff like that, but we're missing it. You're not perfect. You're doing things. You're busy. So, and they're busy. So maybe you guys are missing each other on a certain day. So anyways, for the benefits of your healthy life, that's everything, right? So you have more patience with your kids because you do your workout, boom, benefits of your healthy life. An actual physical transformation, of course that counts. Food counts. Wins financially count. You know, $15 as a commission check is a big deal. It's a big deal. It's money. It's money. I don't know one person who doesn't need more of it. So don't minimize the success that you have and be afraid to share that. So anything really, as long as you have spin it to win it, you know, spin the situations that you're in, spin your life and how it's being affected positively by these changes. That is your daily post. So, and then what we do is we sprinkle in our story. And I just got that book. Where is it? Well, it's downstairs, but the Stories That Stick. And I haven't read it yet. I just started listening to it on Audible, and it's really good so far, but it takes practice. Guys, like, please scroll back to my Facebook in 2017. Like, me and Brenna, like, God, I didn't even know how to smile. Like, can we just talk about it for a second? Like, I don't even know what I was doing, but that's really why I do like that here's Sam. Oh, the Sam I Am post. That's a good one. Literally, to the new people around, I did a like, Sam, oh, what did I say? Hold on. Like, oh, Sam I Am, like, don't you want to, like, I made a like Dr. Seuss Sam I Am post as an invite with like, it was green and it was so, but like in the moment it felt good. It felt so good. So like, you have to just learn. You have to learn, okay? Like, maybe somebody is like, they went to school for creative writing and they're going to crush their post. That is not me. That is not me. But I think that it is such a strength of mine now, my posts. But I had to really, really, really work at it. And what I do is I just try to tell my story every single week. And I have done this long enough where I know my story, like the parts of my story I tell. So who were you before Beachbody? Who are you now? And where are you going in this business? And share the big, or share the next week. You know, it's just all about that. I share a lot about my childhood because I think that has impacted me. That's not the story for everybody. So it's your story. It's your truth. No one can ever argue with your story. Then on your Instagram stories, you know, daily life, it only has one check, like one box there, but like you should be sharing more than just like one slide of like your daily life. And it's a balance. So for the question of how often do I do it, I would say follow the tracker, and every single day, if you have a healthy meal every single day, share it. If you have a poll, I wouldn't do the same poll, but you could do a poll every day. And if you could do recognition, you could do all of the things every single day. Because not everyone is watching your stories every single day. Like that is like the biggest thing we have to remember, is that we watch each other's stuff all the time because we love each other, and like our job now is to be on social media. But say, you know, Sally Sue, who you hope and pray she's going to come into your challenge group, homegirl's busy. She's not on your stories every single day. Maybe she only watched it Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, and on Tuesday you did your call to action or whatever. So that's my answer to that. Then, how do I get desensitized to no? Well, that wasn't the question, but my answer is that you have to desensitize yourself to the no. So I have a great PD book. It's called Go for No. It's like only, I think, an hour and a half long on Audible. And he talks about how no is a really positive thing. And the longer you're in this business, the longer you do realize that, as long as you keep going. So there's something that we've done before, and it's kind of fun. It's called the Go for No Challenge. And so it's like when you got to 100 no's, you got entered into a raffle. And we could do that again if that's something that the team wanted to do. I'm always happy to do raffle stuff. But it basically is just like you have to keep talking to them. So it really doesn't count as a no unless they say no. Like that's in the book. Like that's what they're saying. So like if someone ghosts you, like you have to be brave enough and be bold enough, right? Team Bold Fitness. You have to be able to say, hey, you know, we kind of trailed off there, and I was wondering if you were still thinking about it. I was wondering if I could answer any questions. And I can share, I mean, Brenna has her scripts in obviously her team page, but my team page too. And I have scripts in there. We can tell you all the things you could say, but until you're in your phone having these conversations, that's when you learn what wording works for you and what is like comfortable to say. So you just gotta like desensitize yourself to the no. So like, make it like start today. Who said no to you today? Who did you invite? And then in your tracker, who are you following up with, right? So people you've invited but they're not answering you, go back. Hey, I'm not sure if you got my last message. I would so love to have you. I know we were talking about it. Can I answer any questions for you? Just again, people know your heart. They do. They know it. And if they don't know it, unfollow them. You know, I've very few times has anyone said anything like remotely rude, and most of the time it's just kind of like no one's even really brave enough to be like, get away from me, you know what I mean? Like they're just kind of like no, you know, like they're kind of sassy, like no, kind of a thing. But at the end of the day, we just have to remember what we have. We know that this is real. When anytime I doubt myself, I'm like, am I asking somebody to take a weight loss shake? Am I asking someone to take a diet pill? Am I asking them to cut out carbs or cheese or, you know, like that's not who we are. People are like, well, people all the time, does that really work? I'm sorry, does fitness and eating well work? Like what world do we live in that you're asking me if this works? Maybe you should check your rap. So anyways, we just have to remember, and it's a cycle, it's a circle, it's the ball that keeps rolling, and to get it to roll you have to do all the things. Now social media is so important because what happens is that when I'm Sally Sue just scrolling Instagram, and all of a sudden ding, I get a message in my inbox and it's like, oh hey, it's Julie, and she's wanting to see if I wanted to do her fit camp. And then I'm like, what fit camp is she talking about? And then I'm going to instantly go to Julie's profile and see what Julie has been doing. So when you're posting every day on your social media, it's not necessarily so that somebody right now sees it. It's a timestamp. It's evidence. So that when someone is like, what is this girl doing? Or maybe they are scrolling and they see a transformation and they're like, Jesus, look at this transformation. It's incredible. They're going to go and see what you're doing. And then that's how the seed is getting watered. That's how the seed is, you know, we plant the seed and then it grows. Then they're like, the more they go to your page, the more your page will pop up on them or whatever. And they see your Instagram stories and they see you working out every single day. it is hilarious how much we have to convince people that really all we're doing is exercising and eating healthy and drinking a shake that just supports eating healthy. It's not a quick fix. You know, we know this, but if your body is working the way it's supposed to work, then it releases fat. If you are starving your body, it holds on to it. So that's what Shakeology does. It cleans your gut out. Like, you know, I have a whole 30-minute tangent on Shakeology and poop. So that's the importance of social media. It's not necessarily like, oh my gosh, in this moment, I have to find the best words to tell my story. So at Tuesday at 8 o'clock in the morning, when Sarah is waking up, she can see it and read it and know it. It's more that you're showing up so consistently that at any point somebody could go and be like, oh, she is doing the things. She's doing the things. And then we try to like master our craft a little bit, right? Like we try to take a little bit better pictures, or we try to tell our story more eloquently, or we use like different things. And that comes, right? That comes with practice. But you just have to start doing it so that you can run. If you have big goals, yes, we're gonna work hard and we're gonna push. But working hard in the beginning is building consistency. That's 100% acceptable and wonderful and great. Then with the push, so we do pushes. Now we have an amazing team. Duh, obviously. Hello, Cami, go downstairs. I need a drink really fast. Hold on. We have an incredible team, and a lot of us have been like, it's so funny, like someone comes into the team and a lot of times we're like, haven't you been here forever? Because we just know, like, it feels like we've been like sisters for like forever. But as we grow, and we've had an incredible growth in this year alone, like it's been so incredible. But guys, next year, the compound effect works. Like, it's little change and then it's big change, and you can't really see it. And so for me, and like last year, it was little change. It was like, okay, I'm like really hustling and I'm really sweating trying to make Success Club, and I'm doing the things. And then this year that got a little bit easier, and then it's growing exponentially in other ways. Well, next year, honestly, we're probably going to blow the fuck up in a great way. And so we have to be modeling for the coaches that are coming, your coaches who are coming. It's not about modeling for my coaches or someone else's coaches. The coaches that you are going to sign need to see that this is what you do, and you just lead by example. That's all we can do in this business. And so you're proving right now in this every single week, you're proving to your future coaches that you can say, I did my tracker. Do your tracker, because you're going to get a coach and they're going to be like, Rachel, what do I do? And you're going to be like, do your tracker, girlfriend. You're going to be like, do your tracker. So I know I keep saying it over and over and over, and you're going to get it when it's flipped, but seriously, do the tracker and just put your head down and hustle. Then we have opportunities for pushing. And so that was a long tangent to get to the exact same sentence, but when somebody comes in, they might not be ready, or they could be ready. Everyone's at different places. So we're always going to have opportunities that are like, hey, I'm doing a 300-person push, and I'll explain what that is in a second. But just know that you don't have to be like anybody else in this business. For you, sometimes pushing is just doing this because you worked all day and the kids had an activity or whatever. So don't always feel like you have to do all of the things. But as your leaders, we will always say, hey, I'm doing a push. If anyone wants to do it together, let's do it together. But every season, you cannot hustle, and I mean like push really, really hard 12 months a year or 52 weeks in a year. You cannot. You'll burn out. Like, it's impossible. So, and she mentioned this on Keisha's team call a couple weeks ago, where she was like, this right here, the tracker, you have to find like your steady pace. You find your steady pace, that this is just what you do. So do this all month. right? For the next 4 weeks. Tomorrow starts a new Beachbody week, but if you want to erase it and put Monday through Sunday, do it. It's perfect. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter what day of the week it is on the top. You just need to do the tracker and do it for the next 4 weeks. And then that's your steady pace. Now, things will happen in your life. Things, big things, scary things, sad things, challenging things, all of this stuff will happen in your life. And then sometimes you go into survival. And then you're lucky if you throw up an Instagram story or a post or something like that where you're like, holy, I don't even know where the day went. No, I haven't done my workout. I've been binge eating McDonald's. Death happens, tragedy happens, things happen. Like I know. And then there are times where you push, where you're like, here we go, we're doing it, I have a goal. But these pushes and these survivals are very personal to you. And so if someone else is doing something, you have to be in tune with your own self and your own business and know that you got to stay on your steady as much as possible and then kick it up when you can. So if you have big goals in this business, I would challenge you that you're going to do your things, right? You're going to check off your boxes. You're going to set your timer. And then if you're watching Netflix with your husband at night, and in the beginning, you don't know what's your steady. You don't know what's your push. You don't know what's your survival. So you're like, I don't really know. I'm kind of all over the place. But so do your things on your tracker and then if you can, do more. But don't think of it as like, well, I didn't do it, so I didn't have a win. Your win is the tracker. Right now, your win is the tracker. Then, if you understand what your steady is, then you can do pushes. Then when Brenna's like, hey, we're doing a push next week, let's go, let's do it. Then you're like, okay, I understand what that is. And if you've never done a push before, you don't know what that feels like. And it's a lot of work. And I just want to stress that your chapter 1 or your chapter 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 is you cannot compare where you are to any other coach in the business. I don't care if you signed up on the same day. Everybody is in a different place. We can push each other, we can encourage each other, we can love on each other, and that's really wonderful and about what we do. But everybody has their own life and has to protect their own peace. So as a coach, your first and foremost are your first 3, right? Be proof the products work, do your personal development, and engage in your challenge group. Then you get your steady pace on your invites. You're sharing your journey on social media. Don't worry about it being perfect. You just put it up. And then put your phone down and don't look, because it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. If they don't like you, they'll stop following you. Period. Like, that's it. If they don't like you, they'll just stop following you. And then that's one less person for you to message, because then you have new people to message that actually want to be there. And remember, it's not about you. And they weren't meant to be. And it's so not about you, because somebody could be going through the biggest struggle of their life, right? Like, again, death, tragedy, things that happen, miscarriages, really struggle. Like, we're women, we have struggles. And you could be something positive on their newsfeed every day that they just don't need right now. You know, like, have you ever been that place where you're like, I mean, good for you and your happy life, but I can't see it right now. And so maybe they unfollow you and maybe they come back around. Because I've had people who I've like not seen since I lived in social media in regards to like their profile picture. And then I saw it recently and I was like, oh, I remember you. You were gone for a while. So anyways, we never, ever, ever know what's going on in someone else's life. So in regards to the push for the 300. So essentially, when you start as a coach in Brigida's training, which we're going to do our own, we just, need to do it. We need to lock ourselves in hotel rooms, Brenna, and just like do trainings or something. I don't know. But, we'll have time after qual. In the beginning, Brigida's training, she says, and we will give the same advice, that when you start, to make a really long list of all the people you know, people you're already kind of close with. So you can say, hey, do you want to do this with me? And they say make a list of 100 people. So good, great, whatever, it's 100 people. Then in the book GoPro, he is like an actual network marketing guru. Because most of the time there's like in personal development, it's just about like motivation or sales or something, but this guy is like specific to network marketing. And he talks about this push. And it's like, you just basically, instead of dragging out, like you're going to do 300 invites anyways, but instead of dragging it out over an extended period of time, you just do it all at once and you just plant all those seeds and you just hustle. And so then you invite all of these people and then you follow up with all these people. And then at the end, you're supposed to come out with like 20 people. And so that's kind of the numbers that he came up with. It's a whole video, it's a thing. So when we say like, hey, do you want to do the 300 push? That's what it is. It's just like taking that mass thing. And so what happens is he suggests that you make a list of 300 people. So as you've been a coach for longer, right? And anybody here knows that like you send out your invites and some people never answer you, and then you eventually come out of your invites with this smaller list of people that are like, hey, follow up with me later, just not right now. Or like you get and you talk about the price and they're like, oh, just not right now. Then you have this like follow-up list, and that grows and that grows and that grows and that grows. And that is why later it's a 3-month out business, because later your follow-up list is so long that when you're like, shit, it's the 25th, you just pop down your follow-up list like, hey, remember we were talking about this? Remember we were talking about this? But that seed is already planted. You've already talked about it. They already kind of know. You just have to have like refresher conversations. So those take less time. Anyways, so that is the push. So at any time, you can do your own push. You are your own boss. You're your own CEO. All Brenna and I do is try to lead from the front. Is we try to, we have big goals. You know, we truly want our business to be, and I'm going to speak for Brenna here, we want to be in the legacy club. Like we want to have our business have earned a cumulatively of $1 million. Like we want to be the highest, like we are like, let's let go. So, but if you are in a season of it's really hard right now for you to even find time to eat, it's okay. It's okay. But then just know if you ever want to jump in, you can. But I will tell you that this is everything. This is everything. I'm gonna, you know, it's just like me. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a picture of me with the tracker, and that's gonna be like my contact picture in your phone. Not that like we all like, we're most of the time we're in Instagram or whatever, but like if you were ever to text me, you'll be like, oh, tracker. So just kidding, kind of. I'm half kidding. I'm semi kidding. So that is kind of that. Now, I want to talk really fast about emerald and diamond. That's something we're throwing out a lot, right? We're like, hey, you got to go emerald. Hey, you got to go diamond. Now, emerald is a decision, and we say that with love, but yet tough love of you can find 2 people who believe in you enough to minimum sign up as a discount coach and or your spouse. And then we encourage, if you get any extra products, instead of running them on your account, you then run them through your husband's account. So if you get Collagen and Energize, like you're just running it through his account. So it's not supposed to be something that you're spending a lot of additional money. So when you get your first person signed up, then you sign up a spouse or a controlled. Now, sometimes going emerald is the hardest for people because, but I will tell you, it's your mind. It's 100% your mind, because most people who love you, and if you're talking to people, they do love you. You need to see. Okay, wait. Do you all wait until you have your first coach sign up here? I would. I mean, I would, because you're not going to cycle until you go emerald. So it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter. But then for you, he's military, so you can get that coach fee waived. So it literally doesn't matter because you won't have to pay the $15. But yeah, I would you sign a coach and then you do it. But in the beginning, for people who are like me, it's almost more vulnerable to talk to the people who you love and say, hey, can you do this with me? Like, it means a lot. I want us to get healthy. I'm not scamming you. At the end, if you hate it, you can return it. You know what I mean? Like, but people don't. That's a little bit more vulnerable. But emerald is a decision. And so when we see people go emerald, or when I see people go emerald, I know that they are, and I don't think negatively of people who don't go Emerald, but when I see someone go Emerald, I say, okay, they understand and they're committing. It's not a specific word, it's a feeling I have. Like, okay, I see you. You're committing, you're ready to go. And then Diamond is Success Club. Is either signing someone up as a coach at the same time every month so that you're building coaches, or it's getting people in and then saying, hey, you're having great results, like let's get you the discount. And so Diamond is not that hard. It's hard when you're looking at it, because you're looking at this hill and you're like, well, I have no coaches and you want me to get to 8 coaches? Like, what the ever are you talking about? It's not that hard. You are scared of it because you've never done it before. But I promise, once you start going on this momentum train, and it doesn't say here like, oh, invite X many people to challenge groups and X many people to inviting. But I would say to talk to somebody, at least maybe 1 or 2 people every single day about the opportunity. Be in conversations with them, even if they say no, even if they're challengers and you're like, hey, do you want to get the discount? And I signed up a girl last week who she hadn't even received her Shakeology yet, but I was going to drop out of qualification if I didn't sign 1 more coach up on a certain spot. And she had signed up for a challenge pack, and I was like, homegirl, I need you to do something for me. And I was like, and I hope that you know after 8 months of us talking that it's not about the sale to me. I was like, so I just need you to do this for me, please. And we had talked for long enough that she was like, okay. So for people who, the first people who usually join you are people who you kind of know, even if they're not like your best friends. But for me, it was like people I had previously worked with or people I went to high school with or something. And they knew generally that my heart was, not just out for the sale, that, I was being genuine. And you're just like, hey, do you want to do this together? And then you just keep going, because Emerald is like, okay, hey, here, we're cool, this is great. And Diamond is like, okay, here we are, this is great. And then you just keep going, because you have bigger goals than just getting to Diamond. Diamond totally just represents you overcoming the fear of getting to Diamond. That is what Diamond is. It's you overcoming the fear. And so when we see people get to Diamond, it's like, okay, she overcame that fear of talking to people about coaching. So to overcome the fear of talking to people about coaching, you have to talk about it more. So if you're terrified to build a team, you got to talk about it more and more and more and more and more and more and more, until you're like me, where I would talk about coaching all the time. That's what I would rather talk about, because I love the business, every part of the business. This right here, like with my I'm hugging the computer, like with my babes who like I've dreamt of my whole life, being able to have something like this. This is what I love. So, and it's fun when you get here, I'll tell you. And I know all of you in short periods of time, faster than you think, will be in your own 2-star qualification. You just have to keep pushing, and you have to keep doing this. And when you are in 2-star qual, I will Venmo you and you'll go get some wine. So that's kind of all I have for tonight. I hope we're feeling pumped up. Does anybody have like a specific question? It's 7, so I do want to honor everyone's time. But anyone has a question, I'd be happy to answer, or we can just take a little picky poo and this happened last time too. It's okay, you figured it out last time. You can do this, Brenda. You can conquer the volume. You've done bigger things this week. No, I can't hear you. Last time you did something. I think you like put your headphones in and took them out. I want to hear your voice. This will be the thing that just throws her right over the edge. Just gonna And in the beginning, Shanna, it feels like it's not together because you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. And so I don't feel alone in that. Even if you did it before, it's different. Every year, things change. Every year, social media is a little bit different, and what's working in the network is different. So, it's like just you have to stumble through until you're like, okay. It's kind of like when you bring your baby home and you're like, this holy shit, I don't even know what I'm doing. I remember being in the hospital and Carter was crying, and the nurse came in and was like, I've been around babies my whole life. I'm the oldest of 5 and the oldest of 14 grandkids. Like, I have been around babies, and I know that they cry when they're wet. So the nurse comes in and is like, oh, he just has a wet diaper. And I was like, this is so dumb. Like, the answer was so obvious, but I had never done it before. I had never birthed a baby and then had to like tend to it. So you birthed the business and now you're learning to tend to it. Okay. Like, you're totally like just kind of figuring it out. And then all of a sudden now you can change a diaper without even looking. Shayna, think back to when the babies were, you could close your eyes and you could get it done. And that's what it is. So, oh, next to the mic icon, it has an arrow where you can select the mic or the speaker. Not sure if that helps. I don't know why I'm reading it like you couldn't have read it, but I just, can I like tell you to be the speaker? I made you big. It doesn't hate you. Do you want to type anything that you have to say? Your hair's so pretty. It is for work tomorrow, right? I watched it. And quiet. You're good and quiet. Quiet you. It's not normal. Just kidding. This is so weird. Your client connection. It says that your client connection is encrypted. What did you just click? Click it again. That. What is it? Can I hear you? No. Say you're encrypted. I don't know what that means, but you're secretive. Okay, let's do gallery view and take a pic. Okay. Oh, I can stop recording. Hold on. We don't need to see this part.